give a fuck what you believe. They gotta stand up and serve my God. World prayer, not these. Yeah. Everybody put on that priest on everybody put on that mic on. Boy, ain't shit stopping, ain't shit practice. My niggas serious. And they hit us with dope and kill us with crack. What the fuck with your leaders? I'm curious. You can't down when you blood. You traded you in and bought a new beats. You can't see the profits, I tell you the scheme. If you don't wake up, you gon' die in dreams. I say your most will tell you no more. I swear these crackers trying to kill us slow. Just spoke to a nigga and fed the young parole because of the COVID. It feel like the hoes in this world and double together. Nowhere it's going together. I'm in the city blazing with my niggas. Just told the devil to show never settle. Yeah, promise. Sometimes these niggas keep talking about, you know, you respect my religion, I respect your religion. Boy, you stop it, ain't shit props. You know, like we gonna all come together. You know what I'm saying? They say God told up the world. God told up the world to know your ass. Talk about, don't give a fuck what you believe. Stand up and serve my God. We'll pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. And we'll pray on our knees, nigga. Stand up. You know what I'm saying? Boy, you ain't with stop and hand shit. Boy, I'm gonna step outside of the show to the fake niggas. Say, I got it, let's go. Ain't taking no loss. Ain't no talking when we got the flow. Ain't no peace, just temperature up and below to the right on flex. I look, we can't keep it slick. And I can never let bygone be bygone. Got you, baby mother on high on high. Baby pants through the fire. Ain't shit props. Never been so below to the Lord. They ain't a boy. You never will tell you, bitch, I can't afford. I'm the best one, you bring me on board. Once your leaders weak, let them lies slip through their teeth. They ain't teeth stop and hand see the props.
That's just the reality, Christian. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings. I know your pastor lied to you every Sunday for 30 years, but that's what the church is for. That's why it exists to lie the money out of your pockets.
Boy, your ass need to stop it, ass shit. Give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe. Nigga, stand up and serve my God. We'll pray on our knees, nigga. We'll pray on our knees, nigga. Stand up and serve my God. We'll pray on our knees, nigga.
Yeah, Shalom Israel.
Shalom.
We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West, 125th Street, SHALAM. We've been teaching the truth about the Bible since 1969. Hispanics and Native Indians are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Right? Before I get into the class, let's go over the schedules of the class. Right? Tonight is the Monday night history class. Right? This class usually starts about 6 p.m. Right? But we must say Salakia for the little delay. Right? But this class normally starts at 6 p.m. Right? But we now getting into the Monday night class tonight a bit late. Right? But this class is usually done by Prison Officer Makar Kobal. Right? I am Prison Officer Michael. I'll be standing in for Prison Officer Makar Kobal tonight. Right? Also on a Tuesday we have the Brotherhood class, right, which is done by Prison Officer Soapiala. On a Wednesday we have the law class, which is done by Prison Officer Matt Koyak. On a Thursday we don't have any classes locally, but from time to time we stream the classes straight out of Harlem, New York with Kelshi General Mahaiman. On a Friday, the Lashawan Kwadash, which is the holy tongue or the native tongue of the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. Right here in the I.S.U.P.K, we learn to read, write, and speak Hebrew. Right, this class is usually done by Priest and Officer Yakad. On a Saturday, right, is our Sabbath service, which is done by Priest and Officer Yakad and Priest and Officer Soapiala. Right, from time to time, you may see other brothers conduct the Sabbath service as well. On a Sunday is our scripture breakdown class, which is done by the head of the Trinidad and Tobago camp, which is Priest and Officer Galawan. Right, he does the scripture breakdown class. The scripture breakdown class is a highly interactive class where you can tune in and ask the questions. Any questions that you have about the Bible, you can tune in and ask these questions and get them answered. Right, all these classes, right, run from 6 to 8. Right, during this period of curfew, right, and the times may be subject to change when the laws become a little bit more relaxed in Trinidad and Tobago, right? So all the classes run from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., right? With the exception of Saturday, which is the Sabbath service. The Sabbath service runs from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, right? And that pretty much concludes the schedule of the classes, right? We have classes all through the week, right? And also you can tune in to the I.S.U.P.K social media platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, right? You can tune in to all these platforms to keep updated with all I.S.U.P.K events worldwide and all the events in I.S.U.P.K Trinidad and Tobago as well, right? So we're gonna get right into it, right? Baba Kusha, you will start more with Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. Baba Kusha.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6.
Right, and before you start that, right, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man today, right, is constantly under oppression, right, all through the months and years, right. Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people have been dwelling and living in Trinidad, right. We are continually face oppression, right, and many of the oppression comes in the form of the laws, right, and the institutions set up within these countries, right. So we're going to understand how some of these oppressions come against us, and sometimes you don't even realize or you don't even notice, right, that you're under oppression, right. They might say either free man, right, and look, I have a business set up here, right. My children might be going good schools, right. I might be driving a nice car. You understand? I might be wearing nice clothes, right? But yet still, you don't understand that you're under oppression, right? You're under oppression as a nation, as a nation of people, right? You will rob your history, right? Not knowing who you are, right? And this is where the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man does not understand that your history comes from the Bible, right? The Bible is a black man's book, right? It's not a white man's book as people try to cast it off to be, right? But during slavery, right, our camp leader, Officer Galawan, right, who was bringing this out on the radio today. You could tune in to the Aisha Wells program, right, on 91.9, right, on a Monday, right, from half 5, right, to half 6, and you can tune into the program where our camp leader, Officer Galawan, head of the Trinidad and Tobago camp, right, is on the radio, right, trying to reach our brothers and sisters, right, who are under the constant oppression of all the wicked devices set up by the institutions and religious leaders in Trinidad and Tobago, right? And what the black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man does not understand, right, is that we are under constant oppression, right? You might be doing well, but as a nation, your people doing absolutely poor. And any if you ask any other person of any other race or any other nation, right, what they know and they understand, right, is that if they make it and their people didn't make it, they didn't make it. You understand where I come from? So if one Chinese man open a massive supermarket and they're doing well, right, and all the other Chinese is poor, it's poor and in the ghettos and in the slums, he didn't make it because his nation failed to make it. And when you look around, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, our nation failed to make it. Understand? Our nation is still in the ghettos, still in the slums, still living under the bridges, jetties, storefronts, right? Some of them sleeping in the cemetery. First it become bad. Understand where I'm from? Right? First the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man is cast out in society. Right? And one man might feel that I am doing well, I am well off. Look at me, I make it. But when you look around him, all his people of his nation or his race, right, is in the absolute worst and despicable conditions in society, right? And that's what we're here to explain to Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people. You understand that if our people continue to be in the gutter, we is in the gutter too. Understand? And in the ISP under command of GEN.YAHANNA, we learn and understand that. Understand? That's why we go out to help our brothers and sisters. We don't turn back. We don't say I make it, I good. And understand where I come from? I have cream to put on my skin, right? And bread to eat, right? And I can go out and watch a movie or a fancy restaurant. No, I haven't make it because my people is still under the bridges, still in the ghettos, still in the slums, still live in Lavantil, still live in Beaton, still live in Library, right? And it's not the place, but when it was the conditions we live under, right? You know we under constant oppression, right? So you give me the full scripture, Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6, Baba Kusha.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people.
Right, and this will be the Bible says about the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, right? Anybody who want to say, right, that the Bible is written by white people, right? That is not true. According to the Bible, the Jews black, the angels black, Christ black, right? All the prophets in the Bible black. And they even go so far to call us nigger in the Bible, right? All that is in the Bible. Right, and this is what that's what the Bible says about the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people. Read back from the top, Baba Kusha.
Okay, the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art a holy people.
Right, and it says for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, the Most High created us on the earth to be a holy people. Go ahead.
Unto the Lord thy God.
Unto who?
Unto the Lord thy God.
Unto the Most High power, no other God. Understand? No Shiva, no Buddha, right? And no Kava stone. He didn't make us for that. He made the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man to serve the true God. Understand? The God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That is our power. Right? Go ahead.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people. Right,
and he had chosen thee. Right, chosen us to be a special people. He chose the people in Lavantil to be a special people. The people in Beaton to be a special people. The people in Library to be a special people. The people in Point 14 to be a special people. The people in Maloney and Caledonia, right? They have a place in up Lavantil side they call Africa, right? They call it Africa, but really and truly Negro, black people living there. Go ahead.
Unto himself.
And we were supposed to be a special people unto the Most High power. Go ahead.
Above all people.
Above what?
Above all people.
No, equal to.
All people.
Right? We were supposed to be above all people. Go ahead.
Upon the face of the earth.
Upon the face of the earth. And this written in the Bible. Right? And that our religious leaders, right, don't want you to know. Understand? They don't want you to know that you Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man is a special people unto the Most High. You are separate people from the beginning. The Most High say he made us to be what? Priests and kings on the face of the earth. We were not supposed to be in the gutters and Islam. Understand? We were not supposed to be the highest in HIV and high blood pressure and gout and sugar and cancer. We were not supposed to be that people. Understand? But in our history, we disobeyed the laws of the Most High. Right? And this is why the past is important, because a lot of people like to say, well, slavery was a long time. Understand? The past don't matter. Let me look forward to the future. Understand? But the local slang where they like to say, oh, to know where you're going, you have to look back at the past. Understand? Right? In the scriptures say that you should look back at the past. Right? So you're given Romans 15 and 4, Baba Kusha. Understand? Right? The Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man supposed to look back at the past. See what our forefathers did. How they solve their problems, what they do to overcome the challenges that they faced in their times, right? And when we understand that and know the pathway that they choose, understand, to solve their problems and to solve the problems of society, we now will be able to build upon that, understand, and not stray away from the things that was set and laid down for us to build as a nation. Right, so you give me Romans chapter 15 and verse 4, Baba Kusha.
The book of Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime.
Right, so the scripture say whatsoever things was written aforetime, meaning whatsoever thing was written long ago, the things that were written in the past. So whatever thing that was written in the past for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, go ahead.
Were written for our learning.
Were written for what?
Our learning.
It was written for us to learn from it. Understand? So that is why when you cast away the past and you throw it away and you see the past don't matter, or the Christian pastor like to say that the laws of God done away with, we don't need that again. When we turn a blind eye to the past, right? We end up in very perilous times and in strange situations, strange circumstances, and we can't explain what's happening around me. Why we in this condition? Why we in the bottom? Why we had to lie down on the pavement? Why we had to be begging for food card? Why we had to be begging for hamper? And that's not come from why we sick. And as I'm coming from, why HIV taking over our community, right? Why cancer taking over our community? You understand? We can't understand why these challenges keep facing us, right? If you have any more on scripture, Baba Kusha? Go ahead.
That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
That's right. Right? And that is how we have hope. That is how we have hope. In the laws, statutes, and commandments. This is what our forefathers laid down for us. Understand? Because they understand this. They understand that if we moved away from the law, right, we would end up in the condition we is today. You understand? We would end up under this a lot of like people like to say systematic oppression. You understand where I'm from? We will end up servants to all the other nations that we see.
Right.
You understand? Don't matter if you have a nice big Fortune 500 company, your company is servant to the other nation. Your company doing the bidding at the other nation. You understand? And if your company was not doing the biddings of the other nation, they would have crumbled straight down to nothing in society. You understand? Because once nothing that's benefiting white supremacy today, what the white man does, he destroys it. And as I come from, they begin to sabotage it. But once it's benefiting them, and that machine is greased and a well-operated machinery in their favor, they will continue to let it run. You understand where I come from? So all the black people who championing the cause for homosexuality, right? Them don't mind that, because that pushing their agenda, that pushing their philosophy and spreading it to the masses. So they will not crumble that. You understand? They will create pathways for these things to keep growing in society, right? Until our entire society go into total chaos, right? Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15, Baba Kusha. Understand? But once you're here, you start to go against society and start to do the things that the Most High tell us to do, written in these laws and these scriptures, right? It is guaranteed that what? These nations, these oppressors will begin to see you as a threat. Understand? And they will begin to sabotage, right? And to make things hard for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man to progress on the face of the earth, right? Give me the Salakia, give me the Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15, Bakusha.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15.
Go ahead.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Right. So in the past, right, the Most High gave us laws, statutes, and commandments that we. This was not just 10 commandments as the Christian church like to put across, right? But this was an entire constitution to build an entire nation. And the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man supposed to live by this constitution, because why? It was designed for him, in order for him to stay in rulership on the planet, right? In order for him to keep a high standard, right, while he lives on the planet, right? Go ahead.
To observe and to do all his commandments.
Right, so we were supposed to do and observe all the commandments. Right, continue.
Which I command thee this day.
Right, and this was a command from the Most High. Right, and the Most High said, if we didn't listen to do the things written in these scriptures, right, this would happen to us.
All these curses.
All these what?
All these curses.
Right, the scriptures say all these curses, go ahead.
Shall come upon thee.
Shall come upon us. Understand? And when I say curses, it don't mean something mysterious. Understand? Right? Or some obia man. It just means punishment. These punishments will begin to come to us. Right? The Bible has a dietary law. You don't follow the dietary law. That is why you become in high blood pressure. That way you will get sugar and all kind of strange disease that the doctors find impossible to cure. And understand? They did a study on shark, right in the Caribbean waters here, and they found shark that be a very high content in lead, right? And we don't know lead poisonous to humans. We can't consume lead. You understand, right? So immediately when you buy a bacon shark and you don't fry it, right, and you pour the lard that they make from pig fat, and then now you're consuming the shark that you're eating, which filled with lead, you're totally poisoning yourself. right? And then later down the road, they want to know how come you're sick. And that's where I come from. How come I be going to change my blood, right? In a machine. And that's where I come from. Why this happening to me? Because why? Our religious leaders who supposed to teach us the laws of the Most High tell us these laws done away with. And we don't need that. And that's where I come from. We could do what we want, live how we want. And that's where I come from. You live your dream. However you feel it to live, you live that. And that will bring the corruption and the total destruction of the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian race on the face of the earth. And that is why we're in servitude in the bottom of society. Understand? That's why the Black man in the lowest condition. Right? They're giving us the worst water to drink. Understand? Right? Sometimes they open the pipe like Moby. Understand? And sometimes the water looking clear, and when they taste it, you know something wrong with this. You understand where I'm coming from? Until what bottled water become a staple in Trinidad. Imagine that. You understand? Imagine us selling your own water. Where Officer Yakan?
Yes, so that's what I see that some of those points that they bring out are every country. When you look at the aspect of the shark, and even what does take body, and even not just to you personally, but even to your children, you get deformities, you get a lot of we call it palsy, and all these different things affect. So it's not just directly you.
That's right.
But your children.
That's right. That's right. You understand? So the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man in more turmoil. Now your hospital bills high. You understand where I come from? Right? People like to say, well, I eat pork my whole life and nothing happened. Right? And when I get sick, right? And I go by the doctor, the doctor tell me, well, Mr. John, I believe you shouldn't eat meat again. You understand? But you're not telling you what type of meat not to eat. You understand? You're not telling you don't eat pork, right? Don't consume shrimp, which is a bottom feeder. Don't eat crab and lobster, right? Which is bottom feeders. Rabbit, we're not supposed to be eating. Manitou, lap, tattoo, all these things we're not supposed to be eating. But why? We did not look back in the past. We didn't go back in history to look and see what our forefathers left for us. You understand? Guys would have left for us in this book. You understand? A lot of people like to say, well, all right, right? Yeah, you do even follow a damn law in it. You understand where I'm from? Right? Because this wasn't for he in the first place. Right? And when you go into the scriptures, our forefathers warned us, right? In the bees, right? And tell us what, right? Not the writing, the change in it. You know, they put the images in the book of the law. You understand? And how to do it? You see a set of white angels, white babies. You understand? White babies would go and call them Cupid. You understand where I come from? Right? All the angels white. You understand? Right? They make we think Moses delivering the Israelites out of Egypt, right? And everybody in Egypt white, all the Israelites white, so the whole world at that time was just white people, no black people. You understand where I come from? First the sad, you understand where I come from? And ridiculous, right? Just the other day, I watching I ad on the television. They're showing an ad trying to get people to how to say that again, boy? No, to come and hear from the loved ones from the dead, right? They could reacquaint themselves with the loved ones from the dead, right? And get rid of what black magic, right? And the whole ad run, right? And telling them and how to make back up with the ex-lover. You understand where I come from? Right? And after the whole ad run on the television, right? At the end of the advertisement, they come to show you who the person to call and who to contact. You understand? And this is on national TV in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? When you go and they put the number and they put the person's face, who to contact. Right? A white man. You understand? Right? And here they say, right? He specialized in black magic and getting rid of black magic. That is ridiculous. That is show you the play on the ignorance of people. And they're trying to show people that you're stupid, right? And people go to spend the money. You understand? Right? For this white oppressor You understand? Right, to get rid of black to get rid of black magic. You understand where I'm from? That's how deceitful and crafty these people is. All the Christian pastors telling you every Sunday, this Sunday you buy a prayer cloth, the next Sunday you buy a prayer rope, the next Sunday they're telling you rest your hand on the TV. Understand? And so it keep going. Glass of water, sow a seed, bring an offering on the altar, and it keep going and going and going. I know when and you checking yourself, years passing here, right? Years passing in the Christian church, and I'm not understanding that nothing is not changing, the condition not changing. You understand where I'm from? The condition not changing. And if something good happen, you know what you're gonna say? Well, it's because I rest my hand on the TV. God do wanted to rest your hand on the TV. God wanted to follow the laws, the statutes, and commandments that He laid down.
Right.
That's what the Most High wanted to do. You understand? Not rest your hand on the TV, right? To some man who bought it, ha! You understand where I'm from? Right? Or the next one who buying out all the TCBY treats and gel. And understand, to make sure Jericho stay intact. Understand? Madness. A lot of madness going on in society today. Right? You didn't reach the end of the scripture, Baba Kusha? Go ahead, continue.
And overtake thee.
Right? And these punishments and curses that the Most High lay upon us, because it was not to destroy the black man, but it was to provoke the black man to what? To jealousy. You understand where I'm from? This is how you could live. You understand? You could live your best life on the face of the earth. You understand? But we choose to be in this condition as a black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. And then make it worse, the Asians do what? Erase the history. Right. So on top of your own destruction, understand? Right? Because we choose to turn away from the laws, that young commandments, and the Most High. Right? The nations are wrong who understand, understand, and who went all to dig up the Dead Sea Scrolls, right? And to try to break down the scriptures line by line. You know what they get to understand? If black people, Hispanic people, and Native Indian people don't keep the law, they will continue to be on oppression. They will continue to be in the bottom of society, because we were a chosen people by God. We were made to live different. You understand? We were made to be priests and kings on the earth. You understand? But what they get to understand is the more that we keep them on oppression, is the more they will remain in the bottom of society. You understand? The more they will remain oppressed. Right? And they come up with all kinds of different crafty laws to entrap the black man into today's society. You understand? They come and legalize weed. They say weed legal. You can walk around with 30 grams, right? Which is just about 1.1 ounce. Right? You could walk around with that, and you could grow 4 trees in a yard, right? And next thing you know, more black people getting hold for marijuana than in the past. So better that is not legalize it. You understand? Because you believing that what I could always get away with this. Yeah. When the tree there, they get 4 trees. When the 4 tree there, it's more than 30 grams. You're tempted to pick more, because you know why? You don't want the rest to waste. You understand? You're tempted to transport yourself with more, and the more people do that, is the more they get hold. And I want to say 4 trees per person. So then you have 9 person in your house. You understand? So that's 9 by 4. You understand? When it catches up, you have a whole bunch of you're tempted to do a pick it. And you're telling you, well, to not get tied up with the law, don't pick it, leave it on the tree. You understand where I'm coming from? Them know, right, that they're going to entrap people. You understand? And they know it's black people. Go ahead.
There's something bringing up that point. Talking about the 4 trees.
Yeah.
You can't have more than 4 trees.
No.
On the premises.
No.
If a person have more than 1 different individuals living there, they want to grow their weed. Obviously, you will have more than 4. Mm-hmm. So then that in itself is an entrapment. It's an entrapment. Having more than the amount is supposed to have. So like that. Also, the fines for having weed previously, actually those that have now are probably 3 or 4 times higher.
That's right.
And the penalties and jail time is more.
That's right.
Than previously before, when they didn't have it legalized.
That's right. The fines are totally ridiculous and exorbitant. You understand where I'm coming from? And most time we can't pay the fine. So you know we're going to have to be? We're going to go in prison. The black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man going to go in prison. Understand? And that is how sad it is for us.
So like here's one more thing, so
What else like that?
Even when they do decriminalize marijuana, right? You would even think that okay, that's happening. Black people may somehow, even when it comes to the money side in terms of buying the marijuana, only our oppressors have the ability to manufacture and to package and to make all the different products from it. So they still don't have no kind of benefit to have, even if they do decriminalize.
That's right, and that's where I'm coming from. But that was to entrap the black man. That was to make we end up more in the prison, right? More tied up, right? And as we go along, we will see how people get entrapped. And how they're using some of the other nations to keep entrapping us in the system, right? Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28 and give me verse 23. Babakosha.
3. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass.
Right? They said the heaven over my head shall be brass. Go ahead.
And the earth that is under thy feet shall be iron.
And the earth under our feet shall be iron. Right? And this scripture talking about way back in the time of Deuteronomy, the Most High telling me, if we move away from the laws, that the Most High never make marijuana for us to smoke. Right. And in fact, the lungs are designed for smoke. You understand where I'm coming from? Right? And the Most High telling us here in Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 23, the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, if we don't keep the laws, we will end up in prison. Over we head, right? Go be brass, and under we feet in a jail cell. You understand? Lock up. You understand? Your foot wouldn't be able to touch the surface of the earth. Neither would you wouldn't even be able to watch out and see the stars as a normal man walking the earth. Yeah, you're entrapped in the system. And way back, they're telling you in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 that the black man destined for prison if he move away from the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. You understand? Right? And when we look at our brothers and sisters today, we see that they get entrapped in the system. And these things, because the Christian pastor keep telling us, nah, don't study the past. That was the old dispensation. You understand? And because the Christian pastor tell us that was the old dispensation, we didn't listen. You understand where I'm from? Right? We went with what the pastor tell we. And now, when you look around, you or your children in the prison. And that is because of the Christian church. You can put the full blame on the Christian church for that. You understand where I'm from? Because if we didn't know, and we're supposed to keep the Most High laws, we'd have never be smoking weed in the first place. Give me Genesis chapter 1 and verse 29, Babakusha. You understand? We'd have put weed to the rightful use. Yes, it is a plant. Yes, it grew on the earth. Understand? But it was not for the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man to smoke. Understand? Our lungs not supposed to ingest smoke. The lungs wasn't made for that. Lungs was made for air. Understand? To breathe in air and breathe out carbon dioxide. Right? Go ahead with Genesis 1 and 29.
1 and verse 29.
Go ahead.
And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed.
Right? So the Most High said he gave you every herb bearing seed. Right? And the big contention in Trinidad is that you know that here, you brace a Rasta man. Yes, this herb is the healing of the nation. So all right, yes, it is a herb. Go ahead.
Which is upon the face of all the earth.
Right? And this herb upon the face of all the earth. Yes, man. We're going it in St. Vincent and St. Lucia and Trinidad, Jamaica. Right? Some of them shipping it over from the Middle East. Right? All kind of thing we doing. Right? So some of them taking up the buds and the top of making hash and all kind of fancy thing. Right? And some of them smoking in different grade. Some is local. Right? And all the different names that are for marijuana, that have it in bottle, and they list out all the different names of marijuana, right? And the Most I say, yes, I'll make this herb, and it's all over the earth. Go ahead.
And every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed.
That's right. And all the other trees, so with marijuana, all the other trees that they see bearing fruit and making seed, the Most I say, I make all of that too. Understand? So we sure that all these things come from the Most High. Come
to you It shall be for meat.
But wait should be for me? For what?
To you, it shall be for meat.
That's right. You understand? For the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, it should be for meat. It was not to consume by smoking. It was supposed to consume through what? Through the mouth as medicine. You understand where I'm from? You're not supposed to be inhaling smoke. You understand where I'm from? Right? So and Salakia, one of the officers, I believe was Officer Makako Balo, built in a class. You understand? If you end up in a fire and the house burning, most people don't die from the fire. You understand? You just die from smoke inhalation. That's where you're going to die from. You might even feel the flame yet, and you're dead because your lungs cannot take in smoke. You will die. You understand? And that's what the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man fail to understand. That is why you can't smoke cigarette. Because one puff at a time, you're killing yourself day by day. You understand? Monday, you take everything. Tuesday, you take everything, and you're going down the road. Right? And sometimes you hold it early. You understand? Early, you get lung cancer. Or late, you get lung cancer. You understand? And that is the condition of the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. And people also don't know as well. Right? Some people doesn't even get lung cancer. Some people survive that somehow and they escape lung cancer. You know what happened? You start to suffer your heart. People don't know serious called heart conditions. Understand? All kind of I forget the name of the disease that making your nerves go bad. You start to be shaking. And I can't remember if it's Parkinson's, but one of them, it's about a next name that they just call it by. Right? That one is forget. You understand? Yeah, but it's that one that is making your nerves become bad, right? And that after you're down the road and you're old, and here you're thinking, well, I smoke my whole life and I get cancer. But you know that disease that developed was since back in the day when you were smoking. You understand? Right? And that's what we're trying to make the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man escape. You understand? The scripture say he make it for meat. You understand? You was never supposed to smoke marijuana. Right? And coming up with this ridiculous thing about what marijuana was on King Solomon's grave. You understand? So I go in the cemetery, see a plant in a man's grave, decide to pick it and smoke it. You understand? That is the insanity people will be coming up with. You understand? Right? That is the madness. Go ahead, Officer Yakad.
What about the other grass growing food?
Well, that too. You understand? They should pick the other grass and eat it as well. You understand? And smoke it, Salakia. You understand? Right? Nobody going to smoke bacano. You understand? And fig leaf. Right? And all them different type of weeds that have, and tima weed and all them different kind of things that have. Nobody's going to smoke that. You understand? But all of a sudden, you see this growing. And King Solomon, and not King Solomon, let's call Marcus Garvey or Haile Selassie. That's, you understand? And they go and smoke it. That's craziness. You understand? Black people have to wake up. Understand? And when they go back and they look at the history of marijuana, a lot of these things, slaves, we didn't come across here smoking weed as a slave. What record you have with slaves smoking weed? Only until what? When they look, the Fatal Razak reach with East Indian. And we started mix up with them, and now we started smoke weed. Now it become popular. Understand? And the British won the empire build faster, and all the tongue houses, so they're supplying weed non-stop. You understand? Because why? When it's time for the rest, you high. So now self you're working. You understand? And they're working more hard. You go on any construction site, any place, as a man feel tired, but I feel I'm gonna smoke a weed. Yes? That is what happening. You understand where I come from? That is what happened to the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, and little by little we destroy himself. Day by day, night after night. You understand? And in the I.S.U.P.K under command GEN.YAHANNA, that is we just change people under the I.S.U.P.K under command GEN.YAHANNA. And understand? Weed smokers gonna become what? Non-weed smokers. When we used to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, don't eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster anymore. The entire lifestyle change. You understand? And yes, you could do it. You understand? Not every Christian pastor telling you, well, that is how God make you. God never make you. God never make you homosexual. That is a lie from this dirty place called hell that we live in.
Right.
You understand where I come from? Right? That is a lie by the Christian pastor. You understand? You don't have to sleep with the next man's wife. You understand? Go and find your own wife. You understand? You're too lazy. You understand where I come from? Go and find your own wife. Understand? The black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man was made to live at a higher standard. Understand? And to achieve this higher standard is through the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Right? That was the end of that Babakosha.
Okay.
Right? And I just want to put up some things here, right? I just want to put up a few articles here, right? And show the laws here really made to make the black man oppressed. You understand? And on that real oppression, right? Copy, please. Let's find back this here. All right. It's a real terrible place for the black man to be in. Right? So like here. And this, right? This is an article earlier, right? Showing you that prison officer shot at an arima, right? So this is a prison officer. Here the article say, right? This article was on the 26th of February, and we will keep leading up, and we will see how crazy crime does spread, and how the black man could continue to be in oppression, right? Let's say a prison officer who is attached, right, to the maximum security prison in Aruka narrowly escaped with his life when gunmen opened fire on him. The shooting took place along Pinto Road, Arima. The victim told police he was visiting a woman known to him at 10 p.m. on Wednesday. As he exited the vehicle, he saw someone to his right. There was a swift movement that caused him to be concerned and take evasive action. The officer then heard explosions. He ran alongside the house, drew his licensed firearm, and returned fire in the direction of the threat. No one was injured. However, the bullet holes were on the right side of his vehicle. Right? The police were immediately notified, and a team of officers led by Sergeant Beckles, including PC Hutchinson, right, and PC Bosland, right? So there's a random incident showing you our prison officers being shot at, right? That's random, right? And we're going to the next article.
Right. So
that just seemed like a random thing that is happening with the prison service. A man just happened to shoot at him, right? So this is our next article. And mind you, all this happening all in the space of 1 year, just between a couple of months and some even a couple of weeks, right? Some within a couple of weeks, please. All right, let's see if I can get up this article here. All right, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man things just look like it just come out of the blue, but not for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. Right? So that incident looked random. There's the next one. Prison officer. Again, within the space of a couple of months. Right? This one was the 7th of May. And next incident with a prison officer again. It's a prison officer held with contraband. Right? The article says, officials said a prison officer was held with a quantity of contraband yesterday afternoon at the Carrera prison, right? You know the Carrera prison is the island prison of Trinidad, right? Look News was told that the officer was held around 2:30 p.m. during a routine search by fellow officers. A 50-year-old man was held to be transporting 4 coil packets containing marijuana in his boots, 1 cell phone in his pants, and 2 more in his knapsack bag, as well as 4 packs of cigarettes and 1 quart of paint. As a result, he was arrested and cautioned and told that the offenses committed inclusive of trafficking marijuana and prohibited goods. The plant material was weighed in his presence and it weighed to 284 grams, right? And the allowed limit is 30 grams. So he way over the limit, right? Now this is a prison officer going to the Carrera prison. The first man gets shot at Arima, that look random. This is a prison officer going, right, to Carrera prison, right? This prisoner in Trinidad, they catch him trafficking marijuana and cell phones, right? Going again. That to show you how far this marijuana thing could reach, right? That's what you could understand. That's why they say, right? Go back to the things after those things was written for we learning, right? But the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, unfortunately for us, right? The Christian church didn't teach me that. You understand where I come from? The Christian church didn't teach you that at all. Going again. Look what it's saying here. Right? So the first man gets shot at random. The going to Trinidad Island prison called Carrera. Prison, right? This prison is the prison in Aruca. It would say drugs and contraband seized in Aruca prison, right? An estimated 2 kilograms of marijuana, as well as contraband items were found and seized in the Aruca prison. The fine was made by a prison officer attached to the Golden Grove prison. Loop News was told that about 8 a.m. on Saturday, the prison was supervising the preparation of lunch rations when he had called to inspect the bins containing rice. In the bin, he observed a transparent plastic bag containing 5 1-liter Orchard boxes. He opened the boxes and found 4 cellular phone chargers, a cellular phone wrapping paper, 4 cellular phone chargers, is 1 cellular phone wrapping paper, that is for cigarette, right? 5 bundles of Broadway cigarettes and 1.99 kilograms of compressed marijuana. The police were immediately notified and a team of officers led by I.S.P.K and Inspector Pitt and Inspector Kalinda responded. Now, the prison keep coming up with what? Marijuana. Understand? And the contraband. And you notice he find the contraband in the rice bin, the bin that they put rice to go and cook rations, right? They ain't talking about a bin in the, like the throwaway trash. That bin that they store the rice in. And he find 5 1-liter Orchard boxes, right? In the bin. Now the boxes wasn't open, boxes sealed. Understand? Well, you're getting 5 brand new Orchard box sealed to put your contents in it. Understand where I come from? That alone shows you the level that they're going to. You understand? Showing you even people in the manufacturing sector inside passing contraband to the prison. And one of the main commodities of contraband going to the prison, you notice it's not cocaine, it's marijuana. And understand? It's becoming worse, right? So now you have 3 incidents within the matter of within the matter of months, right? This last incident was on the 10th. We're going again. look at this. And it will keep getting worse, right? This article, prison officer. So it keeps stemming and it keeps building until, you know what? One day they will find a man, right? And look at this. It's a prison officer actually found with 1 kg ganja at work to face judge, right? Now this money, right? This is prison officer 1, Mark Maraj, right? And he's a prison officer working in the Trinidad and Tobago prisons. I think he's working in the Port of Spain prison, right? And I notice watch him. Watch he eyes alone telling you he does smoke weed. I don't know how did they know. I how they now find out he's smoking weed. Watch he eye alone. That alone he's smoker. You understand? But anyway, Mr. Maraj, right? This is what Mr. Maraj doing. A prison officer attached to the Port of Spain prison is expected to appear virtually before the Port of Spain magistrate this Monday, charged with possession of marijuana and bringing dangerous drug into the institution. The prison officer, 1, Mark Maraj, was charged with the offenses at the Port of Spain division Sunday. Maraj, who has 9 years service, was detained for 4 packets of marijuana weighing 1 kilogram were allegedly found in his possession during a routine search at the prison on Friday. A report was made to the police, and the officer was taken into custody. Investigations were conducted by Acting Sergeant Guerrera and the assistant officers of the Port of Spain division, right? And then go down to the cyber unit and who else was involved. Now, this is what happened. You understand? A lot of our servicemen and members now are the other nations. Right. And they're making sure that these drugs track to go into the prison. Understand? To meet who? Who is the people in the prison? It's our people in the prison. Understand? So they're making sure we stay high on cigarette, on weed, on marijuana, and they're making sure and track it into the prison. Right? Because and they say, all right, they get 2 years. You come out for the 2 years, they're supposed to be detox because they're not supposed to. Understand? But then making sure that what the habit stay. You understand? So then now, when our people, right, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man go into the prison, you're continually on a cycle. Because right, while they're in prison, they was already feeding a drug habit. You understand? And God knows what else abuse you might be facing inside it to try to acquire these drugs from these officers. You understand? And that is why when it's a random shootings all over the place and here a prison officer gets shot behind or a police officer gets shot behind, it's not always criminal. It's because these people are the ones who making sure all these avenues, them are the drug dealers in the prison. That's right. You understand? And they're running down the man on Nelson Street. You understand? And George Street. But there are people in the institutions that the so-called say to protect us, them is the drug dealers. You understand? Them is the men who cooking crack in the night. You understand? And making sure that has steady supply of marijuana and bringing it to our people to make sure that they keep us in these institutions on drugs. You understand? And dependent on the system. So when they're released from prison now, and the so-called say, well, all right, this man rehabilitated. No, you now start again. You want to know why the man going back and cook, why he going back on drugs? Because somebody was feeding him that habit. You understand where I'm from? Right? And that is how the black man now again, he going out again, look for more marijuana, and then he go and get hold again, and then he come back in the court system again. The court go and say, well, they here again, Mr. Mark, all right, well, we gave 1 year the last time, now we will get 3. Understand? And his sentence going right back up again. Understand? And all this happening was through marijuana. One law. So imagine if the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man could just stay away from this one law, right? What a much healing it could do to our nation. Just by staying away from that's one law. We talk about the others yet. You understand where I'm from? Right? We were totally save hundreds of black men and women or of the street, or of drugs, or of marijuana. That's how crazy it is, right? And I have another article here. This article showing you. Now, this one showing you who tracking the drugs into the prison, right? Now I have another article here, right? And this article, right, showing you how much the other nations just get away with things. We could never do this. No black man, I dare any black man in Trinidad to do this. You will end up 6 feet in a coffin in the nearest cemetery, the nearest one that could find. They ain't even putting in the one your family want to be in. No black man could try this in Trinidad and Tobago. That's how crazy it is, right? Right, and I think this. Look at this one. This is the headlines, right? This was 5 hours ago, right? It say no bail for man caught driving police vehicle with false number plate. No black man in Trinidad, no native Indian man, no Hispanic Indian man could ever do that or will even attempt to do that. And if you're in a group, in an alley, in the back, in a dark place, and somebody come up with that idea, they're not even attempting it. That will tell you how dread this is, right? Look at this here, Satish Ramsamush, right? An East Indian man, right? This is what this man do, and he can only do this when you know the law on your side. You understand? When you believe, you understand that you have full right and authority to do what you want. Right? This is how lawless the other nations has become. Right? It say an advocate man was denied bail when he appeared virtually before a Port of Spain magistrate charged with stealing a police vehicle and impersonating a police officer. Right? That's the charge. Here it says Satish Ramsamuj of St. John Road was also charged with forgery of a document, uttering a forged document and obtaining good false pretense. Judge Maureen Gafford denied Ramsaruj request for bail and adjourned the matter for July 26, 2021. So imagine forcing that risk that Kevin gave him bail. You can realize this man is a madman. I tell you how mad these and lawless these other nations is, right? On June 24th, 2021, officers of the Tableland police station stopped a police vehicle that was escorting 2 trucks along the Naparima Mayaro Road in Tableland. Now, this man escorting 2 trucks, right? Now, they didn't tell anybody the truck yet, eh? But this man escorting two trucks in a police vehicle, right? It said the driver told the lawman, so when the police stopped him and asked him to identify himself, it said the driver told the lawman his name was PC Ramrup, right? What PC is for police constable. So he said he's police constable Ramrup. Upon being asked to produce his identification card, he reportedly sped off, and the car was subsequently intercepted and the driver arrested, right? So he tried to drive off and the police still catch up with him, right? The officers of the Professional Standard Bureau, PSB, was contacted and the investigation revealed that the suspect had lied about his identity and the police vehicle had been stolen. So the police car is a thief police car, right? Further investigations revealed that the suspect was not even a police officer. Are you telling you? That's how mad and lawless these other nations have become in Trinidad here. You understand? So he's not a police and he thief a police vehicle, right? Go ahead.
How could he thief a police vehicle?
Only in Trinidad. You understand? That's okay. And make it worse. You thief a police vehicle, he is not a police, and you escorting 2 trucks, right? On the nation road. That's right. And that's really other nations become bold and brass. They don't care about nobody. Yeah. That's right. You understand where I'm from? And it's showing you how bold they become in society. You understand? And that really black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. All kind of crime I hear committed in Trinidad. I never hear a black, Hispanic, or Native Indian man attempting something like this. That's how brass and bold have become, right? Further investigations revealed that the suspect was not even a police officer and had no permission to keep and drive a marked police vehicle. It was also discovered that the vehicle had a false number plate, right? So the TV police car take out the number plate, put on a false number plate. He is not a police, and he escorted to a vehicle going up somewhere on the nation road, right? Ramson Rouge was charged with the offenses by acting CPL of the Professional Standards Bureau on June 29, 2021, which was just the other day, right? Following the advice from the Director of Public Prosecution, right? And this showing you understand how bold the other nations have become, how mad. That is why when the I.S.U.P.K under command of GEN.YAHANNA saying separate from these other nations. That is how we just get tired up. This is my partner. He's a good one. He cool. He nice. You understand where I'm from? And that's how we just get tired up in these kind of scenarios. And most likely if a black man was there, you know what happened? He would have gone down. He would have get it wrong. You understand where I'm from? That is how the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man get caught up in society today, and how the place become lawless. Go ahead, officer your class.
And if I make even that seems to get drunk, where you know so-called black man get tired. This so-called East Indian will have his lawyers, will have money. That person is a bride.
That's right.
The black man have no protection.
No protection. We're going to the court system and all even against him. Right, and that's how sad it is, right? And we don't have too much time again, so I just want to chuck in these two things here, and we might have a part 2, right? Because a lot of information, right? This is one that I want to bring up here, right? And this is an article written, and a lot of people didn't see it. So I just want to bring it out here, so you will see what has happened, right? And this crazy place called Trinidad, and that is why the laws here bring it culturally it's shaped for the black man, right? And you understand why it's shaped for the black man, right? They use these things to keep the black man entrapped, and always wondering why he end up in this position in society, right? And that is why we need to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, because the laws, statutes, and commandments, the laws are so able to escape even the perils that they try to entrap you within society. Right? There's an article, right? Written. They say 10 things you may not know are illegal in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? And this article was on the 9th of December 2018, right? So this is the first thing that say illegal in Trinidad and Tobago, right? Clotheslines in the street. You know, if I see in tall building, there's past clothesline over the street to hang clothes. And this is a law. And that is why it's very important to look back in the past, right? And that is why the Bible telling me that. Go and look back at our forefathers in the past. Right? That is why history is important. That is why I have a history class in the I.S.U.P.K on that command in GEN.YAHANNA. Right? Go and look back in the past and see how societies to function, what laws they had, how they used to behave, what they used to do. You need to investigate the past, right? And this is a law. They say under Section 64 of the Summary Offences Act, this is a law that's still on the books in Trinidad and Tobago today. Many of these laws was old British colonial laws, and it still exists today, right? They say any person who commits any of the offenses in any street is for each offense liable to a fine of $200 or imprisonment for 1 month. That is to say any person who hangs or place any clothes on any line or cord projecting over any part of the street or any wall, fence, or paling abutting to any street. So any fence that coming up to the street, you can't put a clothesline there. And you can't pass a clothesline over the street from one building to the next. Now, we are a lot of people living in Port of Spain in these tall project buildings. Right? And that's how they entrap the black man. You understand? Now this law old and resting down there in the box. Right? A lot of people be living in ghetto. I know the ghetto had this set of shantytown and all the streets in between, right? Narrow, right? And now, but then let's say street. They're not talking about the main road only. They're talking about places where people dwell in. You know what I'm telling you? There's an old law saying down in the book, and you can get a month in prison for hanging clothes over the street, right? Now, these laws, they don't enforce these laws today, right? But it's on the books. So if a man, you should upset some policeman somewhere, and he get that man and he go back in the police. And now, this man already have a clothesline, but he come for it. And he just for spite, he make him get a month in prison. You understand? Because why? These things way back in the past, and we never go back to look at it. Right? What's the next one here? They have sleeping, loiter, and loitering in public. You know what loitering in public, right? Here the Summary Offences Act say. Under Section 64(1) of the Summary Offences Act, a person committing any of the offences mentioned below in this section may be deemed idle and disorderly person, shall be liable to a fine of $200 and imprisonment for 1 month, right? Here where the crime is. A person found sleeping or loitering under any building, including any open outhouse, veranda, gallery, passage, gateway, or any vehicle or vessel without the leave of the owner or person in charge thereof, or on or under any wharf, quay, quarry, bridge, footway, or in any street or public area, and not giving good account of himself, right? You will get a month in prison, right? Who does live under the quarry and the jetty and the bridge? Who's sleeping on the street? Who's sleeping on all the storefront? What people? What nation does be sleeping there? Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people. You understand where I'm from? The laws alone. So you can't even rest in the night. You understand? You have you're homeless, you have nowhere to go. And the law against it. That's why you see police just come and if a businessman get mad and he say, he tell the police and tell them to have a set of people lying on for the business because they're homeless, and it's night and all the businesses closed and nowhere for them to go. That's why the police can just come and hold you. Because the police understand that these laws are already in the books, but it's old laws. You understand? That that's rest down in the books. They waiting for the black man. It's we in poverty. You understand? And that's how the black man become trapped. Look at the next one. You see, this one here is begging. You can get charged for begging. And as under Section 45 of the Summary Offences Act, a person committing any of these offences mentioned below in this section may be deemed idle and disorderly person. You see, any person wandering abroad or placing himself in the street to beg or gather alms or cause or procuring or encouraging any child to do so. You understand? When people from the other nations we see put another trend and saying the mother and father have no money. That is a charge by law. You understand? How much are we people? You understand? Blacks, Hispanic, and no choice. You understand? They're going to rock bottom. You understand? And they could be charged for begging. Right? A lot of people don't know that. And look at this one. Right? And a lot of people do this. And these people who are doing this, they don't charge them. You understand? Right? Look at this. They say a person, right? A person committing any of the offense mentioned below in this section, again, may be deemed idle or disorderly, right? And could be charged $200 or a month in prison. So you can get a month in prison for this, right? This is what it is. Any person pretending or professing to tell fortunes. You understand from? So all these persons that professing to tell fortunes, all the tarot card readers and come and read your palm, right? It's as on TV showing you all them different pundits coming telling you come and read your palm. Any person professing or pretending to tell fortunes supposed to get a month in prison. That's on the books and the law in Trinidad. You understand? We had no in Trinidad we want no sorcerers, but yet still them laws don't get enforced. You understand? Because why? We not in rulership. We not in power. So the laws that affecting we, them getting enforced. But the laws that affecting the other nations, because them like to talk about tarot card and palm reading understand? And come and hear from your dead loved ones, all these things. You understand? Go ahead, Officer Eka.
So like I said, if for some reason, one of our brothers, you go to read arms and cards, all of a sudden, the
law getting enacted. And all of a sudden, them finding themselves in trouble because why? There's we people doing it. And these how we just getting trapped in the law. These how the laws are oppressed because these things resting on the book. And a day waiting to entrap a man. And then the wind try to entrap the small man. They were waiting until they rise up big. I know why you're getting entrapped in this, because they didn't know that the Most High say we shouldn't be doing this. Right? In the Bible, and they have no wizards and sorcerers, right? Or the nation of Israel, the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man not supposed to be reading tarot cards, right? We're not supposed to be telling people come and hear from a dead one from the past. And the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man do not do these things. Right. You understand? These things are what? Against the Most High, right? So it's a lot of things that here, right? Look, even this in subsection. Right? People like to eat all kind of wild meat. Right? Here we say in subsection 4:1, no person shall keep or have in his possession a live mongoose, not even as a pet. Right? Any person who contravenes this section is liable to conviction to a fine of $1,000. Yeah, that is the price of a traffic offense for a mongoose. Really? You understand where I'm from? Right? You're not supposed to have that animal even as a pet in Trinidad. How many people know that? Right? Look at this. Right? In subsection 4:1, no person, Salakia, this is subsection 64:1 says anyone, right, who makes, repairs, washes, or cleans any vehicle except in the case of an accident where repair is on the spot is necessary in any street is liable of a fine of $200 or imprisonment for 1 month. So you're not supposed to repair or wash a car in the street. Understand? You have to do that in your yard. How many people know that? How many people you see every day washing a car in the street? I know there's an entrap people.
And the question about people, we don't have access to safety.
That's right. Somehow we don't even have a garage or a yard or a space because it's an apartment building living in. So you force to park your car in the street. So you know what I'm telling you? Go buy a car wash somewhere and pay money. You can't do that. You understand?
And all your oppressors own the car wash.
That's right. So all your oppressors getting all the money. Right? And then we'll go to this one here. What's the time? 8:18, right? We'll close them just now. Right? And then this is a law that passed recently, right? It say this is the beating of animals. While many may think it is cruel to beat animals, which is true, not many know that it is actually illegal in Trinidad, right? In July 2020, Animal Welfare Bill was approved. How many people know that? During the corona. When everybody talking about how high corona is, the Animal Welfare Bill was approved in Parliament. Under section legislation, anyone of animal abuse can be fined $200,000 and imprisonment for 5 years. This one moderate. This one again 5 years in prison. Right? Now, on the average, we living in the ghetto. How many people be pelting dog, beating them with stick? Right? Or you walk down the street, a dog jump out at there, you beat it, right? With a piece of stick that they have because you're defending yourself. What if a police officer should pass and see this? You understand? And he just happen to see the part where you beating the dog with a stick or defending yourself. You know what happens to you? You're going down in front of the courthouse having to defend yourself. You understand? And that is how terrible it is for the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. Right? And I will show one more section and then we'll just close off with that scripture, right? Babakasha? So I want to show this one more section. I had a lot of information else to bring out, but I will bring out that in another class, right? So these are the entrapped black people. Sometimes they use the dead laws on the books, right? Laws that are not um, popularly known, right, by the masses, or laws that are not applied frequently, right, and they catch you off guard, right? Old draconian laws from since slavery, right? There's a law, right? This is the criminal offenses in the, I believe it is the Immigration Act, right? That I want to show, right? Because this showing you how British colonial used to think about black people. You understand? Right? This law will shock plenty people, because and these laws still on the law books today. Right? They haven't changed. Right. So this is the Immigration Act, right, of 1969, and they keep amending it through the years, right? 1974 coming straight up to 2005, right? And the last, I think the most recent update was this December 2015, right? December 31st, 2015. But it have a law in here I want us to see. Admission persons, 10 saying. Right. Coming up on it here. Subsection. Ooh, this thing running by. Eight. Ordinances mean by restriction. Right. This is the Immigration Act, right? In Trinidad and Tobago, right? And this is Section 8(1) of the Trinidad and Tobago of the Immigration Act, right? And it says the prohibited classes of people, there's people that are banned from coming into Trinidad, right? And artists, a Jamaican artist called Buju Banton is coming into the country. And when he's about to come in the country, right, the police hold him, right? Because the music was of was against homosexuality, right? And he ended up in big trouble for that, and somebody used an obscene language, right? And when the police hold him, the police couldn't take him to the courthouse. The minister had us to waiver, right? Because when the police hold him, right, under the act, it didn't provide for them to act, it provided for the minister, right? Because it's in the law, right? And there's a law in the Immigration Act. So the minister has to waive for him to come into Trinidad, right? Pass a waiver. And this is what it said, right? And this is what on Trinidad and Tobago laws, and people don't understand. These old draconian laws, these slave laws say, right? These from the British class. Here it say, prohibited classes, right? Except as provided in subsection 2, entry into the Trinidad and Tobago of person described in this subsection, other than citizens and subject to section 7.2, residence is prohibited, namely, right? So these people will be prohibited from entering Trinidad for, right? Persons who are idiots, imbeciles, feeble-minded persons. So if them purported or come up with the idea that you're an idiot, you can be banned from entering Trinidad and Tobago.
So
I don't know what criteria they're using to distinguish that. Right? This is the prohibited class in the Immigration Act in section 8.1, right? It says persons who are idiots, imbeciles, feeble-minded. That just show how old the law is, right? Persons suffering from dementia, insane persons who are likely to be a charge of public funds, so which means they don't want to put in a mental institution. Persons afflicted with any infectious or dangerous infectious disease, right? So whatever disease you have, and if you find it dangerous, leave people here, right? You're not coming, even HIV or whatever. But you know why they don't enforce that? Because why? The people will get outraged, right? Look at this, and this on the books in Trinidad. Persons afflicted with any infectious disease, right? Persons who are dumb, blind, or otherwise physically defective. Persons handicapped, which might endanger their ability to earn a livelihood. So them don't care about their handicappedness. They care about their ability to earn a livelihood. Because you know why? You won't be contributing to society, right? Or render them likely to become charges on the public funds. So they don't want to become on welfare. You understand where I'm from? So the state won't have nothing to do with you, right? Persons who have been convicted or admit having committed any crime which is committed in Trinidad and Tobago would be punishable by imprisonment for more than 1 year. More than 1 year, right? So if you commit a crime outside and in Trinidad it's illegal, you're getting banned. You can't come, right? Persons who have convicted or admitted. Now, what I read that one, right? The fifth one, right, is prostitutes, right? In Trinidad, they ban prostitutes, and that's on the law books. If it's a prostitute, you can't come to Trinidad, right? Homosexuals, if it's a homosexual, you're not supposed to enter Trinidad. That's on Trinidad law books, right? And recently, the fight for the law book, right? So if somebody is homosexual in Trinidad, the minister has the power to ban that person from coming, right? None of these things will be enforced. Persons living on the earnings of prostitutes or homosexuals, which means they're pimp, local words, you can't come into Trinidad. Or persons reasonably suspected as coming to Trinidad and Tobago for any of these and any other immoral persons. Persons who are reasonably suspected attempting to bring to Trinidad or procuring prostitutes or other persons for, go down a little bit, for the purpose of prostitution or homosexual or immoral purposes, right? So when them Chinese is bringing Venezuelans, the thing, they're supposed to hold all them Chinese because they're trying to bring, they're trying to turn the Venezuelans into prostitutes. You understand? All them Chinese supposed to get hold, right? That's right. Then I say now, habitual beggars or vagrants. So if it's a vagrant, or if they find it to be a vagrant or a beggar in the next country, you cannot come to Trinidad. That's on the law books. Persons who are likely to become charges on the public funds, so it means you're likely to be on welfare, they're not allowing you to come in Trinidad. Persons who are chronic alcoholics, you cannot come to Trinidad. Persons addicted to the use of any drug. Persons engaged or at any time have been engaged or are suspected on reasonable grounds to being likely engaged in any unlawful giving, offering, exposing, sale by using, trading, or trafficking any drug. So no drug dealer not supposed to come into Trinidad, right? Persons who are or have been at any time before the commencing of this act, right? So and it goes on down, right? But it's showing you how old and draconian the law could be. So the parts of the law that for them, they're making sure and not enforce these parts, and the other parts they're leaving that day. And then when a man just gets sent back there, so or he can't come in, they're not telling you why, but they have proper grounds based on the law that's set up from old British colonial system, right? And we'll close, okay, right? So that way the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man need to come back in the I.S.U.P.K under command in GEN.YAHANNA, right? Right? Another time we will continue on some of these old laws and history. But the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man have laws. He has a constitution. Understand? He has statutes and righteous judgments that he can live by. You understand? Right? And I just want to bring out this one scripture. Right? You'll give me Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 13, Babakisha. Right? And this connecting to that, where they say, right, that they couldn't, no homosexual could enter. You understand? And it shows you that the nation of Israel already knew this a long time ago. I understand the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man never used to indulge or encourage homosexuality in a nation. Right? And this is in the scriptures written thousands of years before us. Right? So go ahead with the book of Leviticus, Babakisha.
The book of Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 16. And if a woman approach,
not about no, Leviticus 20 and verse 13, Babakisha.
13.
13. 20 and 13.
1 3.
Yeah.
The book of Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 13. If a man also lie with mankind,
if a man lie with mankind, go ahead.
As he lieth with a woman.
If a man lie with another man, the way he does lie down with a woman, go ahead.
Both of them have committed an abomination.
Both of them have committed what?
An abomination.
He and the other man have committed what?
Abomination.
They commit abomination. Go ahead.
They shall surely be put to death.
Right, that if the nation of Israel was in full commencement and our King Yahushua reigning, with our King Yahushua reigning on the earth, when that time reached, homosexual, what will happen to homosexuals?
Shall be put to death.
That's right. You understand? We don't put to death. We not be power to kill people, but we warning we people. You understand? There's that time when the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man will be in the rulership. Homosexuality will not be a thing on the face of the earth again.
Right.
And with that, I'll pass the class over to Priest and Officer your card. Just the okay. Okay.
Security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yahanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After 6 months, period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a command 18 and 21, and Malachi chapter 3 from verse 8 to 10, means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced Ma'ashara. 10% of any penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation is the memorial blowing of trumpets which is on the first day of the 7th month, which is Monday, 6th of September 2021. You can find it in Leviticus chapter 23 from verse 24 to 25. Remind Akim and Akwake to check on social media, such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We are also on TikTok, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If your brother wants to be a trooper in the school, they need to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, like shirt, like pants, like headband, and scarf. Whatever you say, imagine. When you have a dam, you need to rise and face east. So we're going to see the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakofka, Taba'a, Ratazaka, Ya, Isha, Baratiza, Kawa, Kaya, Mashimayim, Nathan, Nawab, Lakam, Ka, Yawam, Masalakno, Kawawatno, Kasalakno, Kawawatno, Mala'a, Abianawa, Malasayawan, Bo, Washino, Yan, Right, Kaya, Laka, Malakwa, Tapara, I will love you. Man.
What he said is, Our Father, art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
So, let's give the teacher a quick salute. About the Shabbat, a Majam, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatah.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatah.
And the Matah, class dismissed.